Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the path to becoming pro, where we will try to bring up our level of awesome to the best that we can. Now, this episode is going to generally be covering from level 10 onwards in Star Wars. The reason I am jumping in at this point is because of the fact it's a bit game changing after you hit the level 10. Now, we already went over the basic starter abilities and the way to bind them, get them set up. So what we have here is our standard up to F. When you hit level 10, however, and you get your advanced class, whether you're moving up into Marauder or Sorcerer, Sniper, Scoundrel, etc., you get a shitload of additional abilities. So what are we going to do with all of these abilities? Now we have to set up a new way or a new process to keep these abilities while still not sacrificing the ones that we currently have, because even at this point in the game, if you're practicing with all of these abilities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Q, E, or F, you're still not going to be so strong with them that you can do them on command when you need them and understand what exactly they do. So while we're still practicing with those, we're going to incorporate more abilities, but we're going to categorize them in a way that will be easier for you to help you understand why you're using shift more so for certain ways of abilities than you are over your other ones. Now, for example, I categorize my spells in such a way that I have my opener, my instants, my cooldowns, heavy abilities, buffs, and then you have AoE, range, and obviously melee. Now, how you're going to categorize these yourself is based on your own class. So, for example, if you are a bounty hunter, you're going to prioritize your range as your initial things, whereas if you're a Sith warrior, for example, you're going to prioritize your melee as your main abilities. But your secondary abilities now are going to start coming into play. And now what I'm going to do is try to put shift into the game in a way that will be easier for you to remember. Now, a lot of people that will be playing this game, I'm hoping, will have some experience with playing either first-person shooters or games like Skyrim, you know, other RPGs where shift had a kind of an essential role in the game. In most cases, it caused you to sprint. And sprinting, you know, is one of those things that you just got used to, you did specifically, you kept doing. So what you need to do now is trying to process that kind of in a way that when you press or you're thinking shift, you could be thinking shift equals AoE, your area of effect abilities. So, you know, you run up to all of these mobs and then you have, ooh, there's multiple mobs here. I'm going to use my sprint ability on them, which happens to be AoE. And so then you're back using your single target stuff. Now, it's kind of like that, and if you get into the habit of processing it the earlier in the point of the game, the better you'll have. With the shift keys, I actually added in some additional abilities. Like I said, I was going through the categorization, so I've set my, you know, AoE to shift. That's my first one. Now, my second one was just this buff ability, which is a self buff. You know, it gives me additional power when I reach a certain amount of force or rage in this case. And then I have what I classify as my oh shit abilities. These are the abilities that I have set to F keys. Now, F keys are pretty useful in terms of being where they are in position on the keyboard. They allow me to press the button without interacting with all of my main abilities. So when I'm running into a position where I'm coming up and I have people attacking me and I'm trying to get away, but at the same time I need to be able to react fast enough to get my own defenses up or my own power to kill these people, I'm going to use my oh shit ability. So I'm going to be able to just press F1 and F2 quickly. Now I've just activated two abilities in quite literally a split second. So no problem whatsoever. Okay, moving on. So the next thing I'm going to try just go over quickly is your companion. Now you get a companion in the game and you're instantly thrown with all of these additional abilities. I think at this point in the game that is way too much for you to take on. This is like you're going through the controls. Now, for PvE, having these set to your control key is perfectly fine. However, for PvP, you will not be using it so much. So in later game, you'll probably need the control ability for quick access to something else. But for now, what I suggest people do with their companions is just focus on using the control one. Now what you're going to do is you're pretty much just going to select your target and you're going to hit control one. That's it. So you can start off the attack immediately, and you know, you'll get into a slow habit of it. And once you start doing that, you'll be able to, you know, eventually get a feel for pressing the control one. Now, it's a bit of a hand twister when you press control and one while trying to move. So, you know, I'm going to just select this target here and I'm going to press control one while still moving. And, you know, it gets into a pain. So what happened here now in this case, and the way to make that easier is what I did is I used my mouse. This is by holding down the actual 2 keys. Sorry, I'm spamming a bit because I'm not actually watching myself. Okay, so when you hold down left and right mouse button, you move, all right, and you have the ability just to move free with your mouse. This can come in very, very useful, and it will much later on. It's a case of the ability. All right, so while I'm using my mouse, I'm just taking my hand off the keyboard and I'm just going to press buttons without using W, A, S, or D at all. And what I'm doing is running around this target mindlessly, but I'm keeping a track on the target. I'm just pressing 1 there quickly, and I just did try and hit them. And you know, when it comes to that, I have my hand free, and my hand is free to press control keys and to press shift keys much easier than it would be if I was, you know, holding WASD down and then trying to use my little finger for shift, pressing 1, and you know, it gets hard, it gets complicated. So we're trying to keep this a bit optimized. Now the next thing I'm just going to focus lastly is tab. Tab is very important, especially in this game, and you're probably going to need that, especially as you're leveling up. Now, tab is a very important key, and it's something you also want to get used to early on. I know this is a lot of stuff you need to get used to early on, but it's the part, it's how you get to a strong level at the end of the game. If you want to be really pro and you want to have all your top bars and, you know, showing off all your skill levels, unfortunately this is just a slow learning process of trying to adapt to new things. So the last thing, like I said, is tab. Now if I press tab, I'm going to select the closest target. If I press it again, I'm going to select the next target. So what we have here is the ability to switch between targets without actually, you know, looking at them so close, just based on the fact that they're beside each other. Now, I guess in this point they have to be in range, so if I move over here, it'll probably not tab anything, so it has to be on your screen. But it's the speed, because when you're running around a target and you want to select the second target, by doing that with your mouse, that means you're going to have to stop your movement, or you're going to focus on thing, and you're going to be back to using A turning while trying to select this next target. Now this is hard. So you're running around, you're there, you're stopping. Okay, click them, got them, and then attack. This is going to cost you so much time, especially in PvP or, you know, advanced PvE, when you really need to be able to switch between a target. So tab. So for example, I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm going to select this target, I'm going to hit control 1, tab, and I'm going to attack. So what I've just done is I've told her to attack this target, and I'm already back here attacking this one without any problem. So now I have 2 targets being attacked before some other ganker can get in, so I'm already in a much higher position than most others. So, but you know, practice little things like this, guys. It takes a lot. It really does. I mean, you can't expect to be able to jump in and know all of this stuff. I can throw keys and keys at you. I can throw loads and loads of abilities at you, but you won't learn them. You won't be able to pick them up. So focus as best as you can on the little things right now. And that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to recommend this to your friends if you know anyone who can use some advice and tips on how to bring their skill level up a notch. This is going, like I said, this is going to be a slow process over the course of the 50 levels. Now I will throw in some PvP videos and things like that just to show how abilities and key binds as well as precision movement start really coming into play and making you feel stronger if you get to it. Okay guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.